it's graduation week here on the mountain. Congrats to all those that reached that milestone. But just because classes are coming to an end doesn't mean that Liberty athletics are coming to an end as well.
No chance.
That's right.
Welcome to Flame Central. He's Matt, I'm Emily, and there are still plenty of Liberty athletes still competing. And guess what? We're covering it all.
We sure are. Let's start with baseball, shall we? They just completed their last home conference series of the season as they took on Louisiana Tech. The first two games of the series would not go Liberty's way, so they were trying to avoid the sweep on Sunday. Senior Easton Swafford came through with the 2 RBI single in the second inning. That made it 2-0 Flames, and it gave them their first lead on the entire weekend. They would go up 3-0 on a Jordan Jaffe ground out the next inning. Then it would be all about preserving this lead. La Tech got 2 runs back in the 5th, but Bradley Zayak gave the Flames 7 strong innings, and Cooper Harrington would come on to close it out. The Flames avoid the sweep and get a much-needed win, 3-2. Liberty would then turn to Tuesday night, the final home game of the season against Wake Forest. It was a tight one, but the Flames fall by the final score of 7-5. With the loss, Liberty is now 37th in the RPI as they creep closer and closer to that NCAA regional bubble. With that in mind, this weekend's final regular season series against Middle Tennessee beginning on Thursday becomes awfully important.
One name you should be familiar with at this point in this season on this Liberty baseball roster is Nick Barone. He's been such a good leader for the Flames and really helped set the tone and the culture of this program since Bradley LaCroix became the head coach 2 seasons ago. The player and coach have a special bond and belief in each other. In fact, it's the reason Barone is here at Liberty today.
Now batting the left fielder, number 17, Nick Barone.
And now Nick Barone comes to the plate. Swings on the first one, hits it a ton. Belted right center field. And that baby is out of here. And there's a drive. Hammered deep to left. Barone has done it again. And he ambushes this. Belted deep center. Will the park hold it? It's a 3-homer game for Nick Barone. Somebody buy that man a steak.
When Liberty senior Nick Barone started playing baseball at 8 years old, he was doing the same thing he is today.
Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick.
Hitting home runs.
That's out.
That's out.
That's gone.
That's out of here.
Well, I think it was when I hit my first home run in minors, I was like, wow, like that was a cool feeling. And it was kind of like, I just got like a rush of emotion and like, I was like, wow, like I want to do this for a long time.
That one's lifted to right, might have some carry on it. Looking up, Galello, and it is over the wall. A home run for Nick Barone.
The feeling you get from it is just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a high every time. It never, ever gets old. Like that is why I started playing baseball. That's why I fell in love with it.
That ball well struck. Deep to left field, and he's done it again.
As the Flames' leader in home runs, Nick has that feeling quite a bit. But like many college athletes today, his career didn't start on the mountain.
My freshman year of high school, I had just finished up the season and my travel team was getting ready to go down and play in Florida. And my travel ball coach, he was good friends with the Virginia Tech assistant coach, and he was like, hey, I got this kid. He wants to stop down at a camp on the way to Florida. So I did that, and I actually hit for the cycle in a camp. And then I got offered by Virginia Tech right after that, and I ended up committing. And I was committed there for 3 years in high school.
However, in May of his senior year, Nick would have to reopen his recruitment after roster issues would leave him without a spot on the team.
That was the most stressful. I think I was sitting there with nowhere to go for about like a week. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I was like freaking out there for a couple of days.
Nick would eventually find a home for 2 seasons at West Virginia.
Nick Barone, a grand slam over the wall.
But then would decide to enter the transfer portal his junior year. And that's when he would get on the radar of Bradley LaCroix.
I was at VCU, we were looking for an outfielder. Steve Sabins, who's the head coach at West Virginia, called me and recommended Nick. Potential swinging the bat, be a good offensive player. But the number one thing was the makeup that Coach Mazey and Coach Sabins said he had. He was tough, hard worker, extremely highly competitive young man. So that really sold me on it. And we took him.
But before Nick would have the chance to suit up for VCU, he would once again get some surprising last-minute news.
I was playing summer ball in the Northwoods, and I was on the bus, and then Coach LaCroix put in the group me, he was like, we need to have like an emergency team meeting in like 30 minutes. And I'm like, oh, this can't, like, it's the middle of the day. It's like, this can't mean really anything like good. And then we got on a Zoom call, and he said he was leaving to come to Liberty. And I was just like, oh gosh, like what am I gonna do now? I got off the call and I'm texting my dad and I'm like, Coach LaCroix's leaving VCU. I'm like, I don't know what to do now. And then he called me like 10 minutes later. He goes, hey, we want to bring you with us. And I was like, absolutely, like, let's do it.
Coming right there, boys. He was right at the top of the list that we wanted to bring with us because of the makeup and the toughness he brings to us. What, Nicky B? We needed that, especially first year in the program setting, the culture. It meant a lot to me that he believed in myself and the staff and what we were going to do here at Liberty, to not hesitate at all and say, absolutely, I'm all in.
And both sides are experiencing the benefits.
Barone, well struck to left center field. That one way back and out of here.
As Nick is having a career year and the Flames are contending for the postseason.
He has made me able to just play so relaxed. He's the definition of a player's coach. Knows how to make you prepared for any situation that you need to be prepared for.
We talk about it as a team all the time and hitting that you want to be the man. You want to be up there with the runner in scoring position. He wants that moment.
The 1-0 to Barone. Swung, hammered, deep to left, and out of here! Nick Barone puts the Flames on top with a 3-run bomb!
I mean, it's a great game. The relationships and stuff you build from it, that's the biggest thing is playing the game it's fun. You fail a lot. And mentally, it's not always the best game to play, but it's like when you do have that success, it's just the greatest feeling in the world. You're representing your school, you're representing your teammates, your coaches, and the university, and it's awesome. I mean, I'll never take it for granted.
Great piece, Emily. Great work on that.
you.
Nick Barone, what a season he's had, and you saw the relationship between he and Bradley LaCroix. You have to think that trust between the two has been part of what's led to this career year for Nick Barone in his senior campaign.
Yeah, and fun fact that we didn't have time for in the feature, Nick's first sport was football. So I think he made the right decision of switching to baseball. I feel like every time I'm cutting highlights for the show, another Nick Barone bomb.
Wow.
I'm not doing the play-by-play.
Maybe you should. You want to take over for me? That's pretty good. All right, we move now to softball. Now, fair to say, it's been a bit of an up and down season for the ladies this year, but they are back-to-back defending CUSA tournament champs. The question was, could they make it a three-peat? It was a double elimination tournament, mostly, so it always helps to win the first one. And Liberty would handle that easily. Savannah Jesse would homer and drive in 5 runs in the game, while Camden Anders threw 5 shutout innings. Liberty cruises past Louisiana Tech. Then, after beating Western Kentucky in the next game, Liberty would face the 1-seed Jacksonville State in the semis. The long ball set the tone for the Lady Flames. Danny Lee, the freshman, with a 3-run shot in the 4th, made it 3-0. Then Bryn McManus leaves the building in the 5th to put LU up 5-0. Camden Anders would do the rest. Another great start as Liberty wins it 7-2, putting them in the winner-take-all championship game. Who would they face? Well, after playing their way out of the losers bracket, Liberty would face Jack State again. And early on, it looked like it would be a similar story to the first meeting. Back-to-back jacks from Bryn McManus and Savannah Jesse put Liberty up 3-0. They would add another run in the 4th to take a 4-0 lead. But in the bottom of the 4th inning, that's where things started falling apart. 5 walks in the inning allowed Jack State to tie the game at 4 apiece. And then in the 6th, the Gamecocks would break it open. A 3-run frame, including a home run for the exclamation point, and the Lady Flames come up just short of the three-peat. They fall in the CUSA title game 7-4. Their season ends 1 win away from another trip to the NCAA tournament.
Bummed the season is over, but excited to see how Liberty softball reloads for next season. All right, a quick update from the pitch. Former Flame Ivy Younts, previously known as Ivy Gardner, made her pro debut with the NC Courage last Friday. The defender signed a short-term contract as a professional back in March. Ivy is the first pro player Liberty has had in the National Women's Soccer League, which comes as no surprise after the dominant career she had with the Lady Flames. All right, let's check in with track and field. Liberty begins the 2026 Outdoor CUSA Championship at Middle Tennessee this week. The meet runs today through Saturday and will be the final opportunity for athletes to post qualifying marks for the East First Regional Round. For the ladies, they'll seek their 4th straight outdoor conference crown, while the men will look to reclaim their title. You may remember the Flames had their 17 straight outdoor team title streak snapped by Kennesaw State last season. Earlier this week, we had head coach Lance Bingham on the Flame Central podcast presented by Ortho Virginia to talk about his message to the team ahead of the conference meet.
The thing that we worry about the most is the thing that we trust God in the least.
Wow.
I know that there's some worrying going on. I know there's some anxious thoughts. What does God's word say? Cast them upon me. Pray about these things. Bring them to me, and I will give you rest. He is our peace. We talk about God's promises throughout God's word. If our identity is all wrapped up in what we're doing in the next performance, that's not going to happen. It's like, God, use me however you want to. Let us reflect your glory in whatever way you see best. I see that in a lot of the stories being written. And so that's exciting for me. But we continue with that same message.
Coach Bingham is the man. Such a great representative of Liberty. And if you would like to hear our entire conversation with him, as well as our thoughts on everything happening around Liberty athletics, check out the Flame Central podcast presented by Ortho Virginia. We drop a new episode every Monday. You can find it wherever you listen to podcasts or watch the fun on the Liberty Flames YouTube channel.
Our next feature comes from the hardwood. Today, Liberty alum Dante Marchitelli is living out his dream as a sports broadcaster with the Orlando Magic. And it was right here at Liberty that he got those early reps on the mic. And it was also on the mountain where he took a step forward in his faith to trust God's plan for him and his career.
But you take down the Knicks 103-94.
I was a big sports fan my whole life.
Now have a 3-game homestand.
And I always wanted to be in sports.
All right, let's do it. What's up, big fella? How are you doing? Okay, thank you very much.
Orlando Magic broadcaster Dante Marchitelli is living a childhood dream.
This Magic team is 3rd in defensive rating.
And for this Liberty alum, it all began on the mountain.
Didn't know much about Liberty at all, to be honest, but just kind of from the people I met and the feeling that I had when I was there, I said, this is where I want to go.
While at Liberty, Dante studied mass communications and became sports director at the campus radio station, all while gaining valuable experience in sports broadcasting.
I got to call baseball games, and it kind of just turned me loose. It was just me. I could bring anybody I wanted as an analyst, kind of left it all up to me, set up my equipment, make sure we had a connection back to the station.
For that, big wins against the Lakers and the Clippers. Well, we got the Pistons in town who have the best record in the NBA. They got 2 All-Stars. Kate Cunningham is having an MVP-type season. This Magic team is trying to get on a roll. They've won 6 of 9, so a win today would be big.
Dante would grow up in a Christian home just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, and attended church regularly. But once on campus, he made every effort to avoid Sunday morning service.
Hiding in the closet, hiding under the bed, when the RA came in there. And then it's like, all right, well, you get busted for that. Now let's get out of the dorm. We'll go to breakfast. And then so if I'm getting out of the dorm, I might as well go to church. Like, why don't I just go to the service? And I went, and I'm telling you, we got hooked. Everyone on our dorm, we just started going together. And even though growing up faith-based and hearing it, when you have to make your own decisions and you choose to go on your own, like I did during that time, that to me is when it hit. That to me is when it became powerful. And that is when I recommitted. My whole time at Liberty University was learning about God again and just recommitting my faith.
All right, E, how we doing, man? Good to see you. Tay,
what's going on?
How you doing? You guys good?
I like the
Okay,
colors.
all right.
The navy
Does it work
with
okay?
It worked great, man.
I didn't know.
In the summer of 1998, Dante was offered an internship with the Orlando Magic. But there was just one problem. The NBA owners and players were deadlocked in labor negotiations. And as a result, the upcoming season was put on hold meaning Dante's internship with the Magic was in jeopardy.
Now, the latest on the NBA lockout is pretty well what everybody expected, which is not good.
The NBA went into a lockout. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if this is going to work.
You know, there's been a lot of back and forth stuff and the posturing and all the stuff that goes in negotiating. But I would say there is a sense of urgency to kind of get this thing done.
I think God tells you what you should do. And I'm a firm believer that if it's what God wants, those doors will open, right? And it just felt like, just go down there. So I moved down. I stayed with the family on their couch for a couple of weeks until I heard if I got the job or not.
It's going to be a good run. All right, big fella. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go.
Ended up getting the job a couple months later. But you talk about divine intervention. I feel like that was God's plan the whole way.
Fast forward almost 3 decades, and Dante is still with the organization, something he considers to be a privilege.
It's a dream come true. Every single time I walk in this building, it's a reminder of how fortunate we are. This is a kid's game. I grew up playing this game and thought if there's any way I could just be around it in some capacity, let alone to be around the players, to connect with the fans, the staff, everybody that works here on a nightly basis. You may have days where you're tired from a road trip or whatever it may be, and it's tough being away from the family. And I think about that a lot. But when you walk in this building and you step on that floor, there might be somebody, this is the only game they ever come to. And you realize how special it is. And it's, at the end of the day, it's a game. And it's a kid's game, and we get to talk about it for 2.5 hours. It's a dream come true. He's knocked down 28 threes in the last 6 games.
And you know the old adage, if it's something you love, it doesn't feel like work. And that's how it's felt this whole time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, you too. See you guys. All righty. That's a wrap.
Thanks to John Pratt for producing that story. You've actually had the chance to work with Dante some over the years.
I have. Such an incredible guy. You saw it in that feature.
Yeah.
It really just shows who he is as a person. And you got a little glimpse of him saying hi to the fans.
Yeah.
I feel like Dante had to go to the games an hour, 2 hours early because everybody wanted to meet and say hi to him. And he always took the time to spend with the fans. It was really special.
Unlike Emily, she won't give the fans a minute before games when they try to talk to her.
True.
Hey, we're about out of time. For any stories you might have missed, as always, check out LibertyFlamesCentral.com.
And don't forget, the Flame Central podcast presented by Ortho Virginia will continue on
Yes.
all summer long. We're out of time. For Matt, I'm Emily. We'll see you right back here next week.